He may be a precinct worker or a president. He may give his talents at the courthouse, the state house, the White House. He may be a civil servant or a senator, a candidate or a campaign worker, a winner or a loser. But he must be a participant and not a spectator.
My name is Kirk Goolsby. I'm from Warrenton, Virginia. And I had a question actually relating to something you said earlier, and that was if people want to change things, they should run. As you know, and as most people know, many of the states have gerrymandered their districts such that it becomes it's not very competitive in many districts. Just as an example, Maryland and Virginia. If you look at Maryland, you have, I guess you could say it's a baby blue state in the red state model, and then you have Virginia, which is a light pink on the red blue state model. And yet, if you look at the congressman in Virginia, it's very heavily weighted in the Republican direction, whereas in Maryland, it's very heavily weighted in the Democratic direction. And so with districts that are not competitive, I'm just curious about what your take is on how to make these districts more representative of the populations of the states where they come from. Thank you.
That's a very good question. I want to divide it into two parts, though. On redistricting, I favor the Iowa model. In Iowa, they today have a very open system where a nonpartisan board draws the lines. Nobody thinks the Iowa system has been gerrymandered, and it's really designed to have districts that are geographically coherent that make sense, whereas in gerrymandering, we sometimes have districts that look totally weird. The original term Eldridge Gerry was a Federalist in Massachusetts, and in 1812 they wrote the lines, and somebody said, "Oh, that one district looks like a salamander," and the other person said, "Oh no, that's a gerrymander," and that's where the word comes from Eldridge Gerry. So we've been drawing lines for political reasons all the way back to 1812. It's a long American tradition, but I think it's wrong. I think it leads to bad government. However, even in the short run, right this minute, this may surprise you, there are no safe seats in a primary. That is, even when you have gerrymandered and say this is a safe Republican seat and this is a safe Democrat seat, my answer is fine. Run against the Democrat in the Democratic primary and run against the Republican in the Republican primary, and the forces of change can still win because you can beat them in the primaries. And I do not believe, when I tried to build a Republican majority, all sorts of people said to me, "Oh, you'll never win a big election. Incumbents are so strong. The districts are so rigged." We picked up 53 seats in one election. And all of a sudden people said, "Well, how you weren't allowed to do that." Well, how do we do it? We went out and we had ideas. We had a contract with America. We talked about welfare reform, balancing the budget, cutting taxes, strengthening defense. And the result was people all around the country said, "Gee, I'd like that." Now, we understand that with new products. We understand the idea you go out and you advertise a new product and people say, "Gee, I think I'll go to the store and maybe try that." And so I would argue that even in a rigged district, you can beat an incumbent. I ran twice against a very senior incumbent. I almost beat him twice. I announced the third time, he retired, and I won the seat on the third race. I mean, nobody said that the pursuit of happiness is easy. And so you may have to work for a while, but there is no safe seat in America if the incumbent is bad enough. Like my competitor was a Democrat, but I was in a he was actually the dean of the delegation, and on the appropriations committee. I mean, I was probably nuts, but you know, I mean, people said I couldn't beat him, and they were right, but I could wear him out. Well, I mean, but Frank Wolf from Northern Virginia is a good example. He had to run 3 times. You know, I'm just saying that if you're prepared to go out and do it, you can have a remarkable impact in public life.